Hey y'all, Premiere just added film impact effects and transitions, and I just want to go through a few of them with you. This is kind of cool for me. I have known about film impact for over a decade. They used to exist, and you could download just a few of their transitions for free. And I was pretty broke, so I couldn't afford to buy the rest of them, but I definitely downloaded. There were like 5 that you could download and use, and I did. And now with this latest update, we have access to all of them in Premiere, and I'm getting a kick out of it. I think it's pretty cool. So I thought I'd walk you through some of them. Someone in particular asked a question about the typewriter impact transition, so I'm going to show that to you today. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you are here. Welcome. My name is Adrienne, and I make tutorials on video editing. And now let's get into it. All right, as you can see probably from my sequences here that I have, we're going to go through a handful of these film impact effects and transitions. If you go over to the effects panel and search for film impact, you're going to see all of them open up. Some are under video effects and some are under video transitions. But I'm going to show you something. Here they all are. There's a lot. There's a lot for you to play around with and choose from. I want to show you something that I think is a little bit easier than searching for these new effects and transitions in the effects panel. So if you go up to Window and down to Extensions, you'll see the Film Impact Dashboard. And if you click that, this window opens. And here you can hover over each of these and you can see what they do. So as we all become more and more familiar with these effects and transitions, and you can figure out which ones you prefer, which ones you like best, this can be perhaps a helpful way for you to take a look at what it is you want to use. If you want, of course, there's a search bar here, right? And then if you want to, you can drag this and add it, say, to your panel over here. And so then you've got your film impact dashboard added to your workspace. I have done a whole tutorial on my page on different ways of creating the typewriter effect. And those things pretty much don't matter anymore. If you're interested in learning how to do it from scratch, if you want more granular control, please go check out that tutorial. But I'll show you right now that there's a film impact typewriter transition that you can use, and it's pretty great. So you can see here, I've got this typewriter sequence. I have just a still of myself from a different video that I made. And then I typed some text and I added the typewriter impact transition to the beginning. So let's watch it. Don't forget color correction. Okay, so I'm going to highlight the typewriter effect, and then I'll go over to effect controls, and you can see here typewriter impacts, and you can see how much control you have over this particular transition. There's a lot that you can play with, and then all of these effects and transitions come with this surprise me button, and you can click that and it'll change the transition or the effect slightly. If it changes to something that you really like and you think you actually want to keep and use again, instead of having to hit surprise me over and over and over again every time you want to do that, you can go up to the effect or the transition here and right click, and then you can save the preset so that you can access that surprise me option that you landed on that you really prefer. So you can see that this is pretty straightforward. It types out one word at a time, or one letter at a time, I'm sorry. It types out one letter at a time. And something I want to let you know that's a little bit quirky about this transition um, is your letters cannot be that close together. So I had originally typed out, don't forget color correction, in Premiere, and my letters were too close together. And so the transition was making each word pop up at a time as opposed to one letter at a time pop up. So I had to go into, if you select your text layer and then go over to properties and then select your text appear if you don't see text, you'll see this VA, and this allows you to change the spacing between your letters. And it started at 0 and I had to increase it all the way up to 125 in order to get the transition to apply to one letter at a time, the way a typewriter actually works. That could also be because of the particular font I decided to use. So be sure to play around with it. But that was the first issue that I came across when I was trying to use this transition for the first time. Next up, you can see we're going to talk about motion tween. Motion tween allows you to move a graphic around on the screen in a lot of different ways. It's pretty cool. So you can see that I have a still of VectorScope YUV, and then I have this arrow sitting on top, and I want the arrow to come up and point out something about VectorScope YUV, and then I want it to move off screen. Something you should know is motion tween is technically a transition. So if you want to be able to use it, you have to make a cut on your clip. So I applied the motion tween transition to the beginning of the clip. And if we go over to Effect Controls, I'll select motion tween. And you can see it over here. You have all of these presets that you can choose from. I just chose easy pitch. Okay, now let's move the playhead and see what easy pitch looks like. So it's spun on. That's pretty cool. Something that you can do if you scroll down, you can ease these in and it'll make it a little bit more smooth. That looked really nice. And now you can see I'm pointing to something here on VectorScope YUV, and then you can see I have a cut on my arrow. And then in this clip, I want the arrow, if I select motion up here, you can see I want it to be small and move off screen over here. So I applied the motion tween transition here in the middle. I'll select that. And you can see I decided to go with easy accent in order to be able to see what that would do. So if we move the playhead over, let's watch. Ooh, that's very nice. It's sort of smooth and gradual. Let's try surprise me and we can just see what that does. See what happens. Whoa! I don't think I like that. That moved in the opposite direction of where I want my arrow to go, right? I want it to go in the upper right-hand corner. So let's hit surprise me again. See what that generates. Oh, that was kind of interesting. It sort of circled off to the center instead of the top right. I think I'll keep that. So the thing for you to remember with motion tween, the thing that's really important for you to remember, is that it is a transition. So you have to make a cut, and then you have to move, without keyframes, move your graphic or your image to a particular place where you want it to be, and then you use motion tween as a transition to get your graphic from point A to point B. But no keyframes are needed. Let's go to earthquake. So this is another sort of funny one. I have an old tutorial again on how to fly like a superhero, and you should check out that tutorial. It was a lot of fun to make and to shoot, And so if you're interested, check it out. But there is now a transition that changes a little bit of that tutorial. And so I wanted to show it to you here. So let's take a look. You can see I have myself, I'm in my backyard and I'm standing, and then I'm about to jump up and I'm going to take off. And when I take off like a superhero, I am so powerful that I want some camera shake. And so we use the earthquake transition, and it makes everything shake. And then I fly off into space. So let's watch the whole thing. Whoa. So pieces of this tutorial don't change. You still need to take a screenshot of yourself. You still need to mask yourself, and then you need to nest that sequence so that you're able to apply the transform effect and have it work appropriately. You still need to, I'll make track 2 invisible. You can see you still need to have your clean plate clip on track 1 so that when you move yourself out of frame because you're taking off to fly, you have the background undisturbed behind you. But for today, to the point, I have 2 earthquake impact transitions. One is here in between my taking off, and then another one here as I masked myself out and I zoom up and out of frame. So if you select, again, the earthquake impact transition, you can see down here you've got, again, a lot of ways you can change the transition. I wanted really high vibrance. I wanted lower softness. I wanted it to be really impactful. I wanted it to be a big earthquake. And finally, let's talk about the alpha FX effect. If I go over to that sequence, and then I come up to Essential FX in my Film Impact dashboard, you'll see alpha FX here. It's the first choice. I want to apply this to the clip I have on the second track. I'm going to apply it. Oh, and now you can see what it does. So it's a way, I think I have another clip of a tutorial, like a piece of a tutorial about masking, where you can change the background of your clip. And so again, I wanted to show this to you because it changes things a little bit, and you have a lot of control with either way that you choose to remove the background. And this is just another tool in your toolbox. If I can find that tutorial, I'll leave it linked so that you can watch that one if you want to too. Okay, so if you come over, you can see on track 1, I liked the sunset. Obviously, we're not going to be using the water because this girl's in a meadow, but either the sunrise or the sunset, whichever this is. So you can see what this effect does is it makes certain parts of your clip transparent. Here, it's taken anything that's really bright in color. So that is the sky, but it's also her shirt, right? So don't love that. It's not what I want. If you can see auto detection fully automated, we don't want that. Let's try semi-automated. That didn't work either. Now we have water in our field. So let's go up to manual and let's see if we can get it there. Come to threshold and we can change that. Does that do anything? No, it does not. Let's try mode and let's go to unmult light and then change this. Nope, it's still picking up her shirt. So I'm going to put it back to dark the way it was. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a mask. We're going to use this pen tool under the effect that we've created. Now I'm going to do a quick mask. Okay, I'm going to be kind of fast here, but we're just going to mask out the mountains. Or we're not going to mask out the mountains, we're going to mask out around the mountains, right? We're going to mask out the sky, and I'm going to pull these corners out. Okay. And now, if I keep auto detection on manual, and I do unmult light again, we can see it is just applying the effect to the mask. So I can now change the threshold. I can feather it just a little bit. And all of a sudden, now you can see that we've completely removed the old sky and replaced it with a sunrise or a sunset. And it has not impacted the woman's shirt in any way. One more thing I want to point out to you is this mask works the same way that any mask on any other effect would work. You can track the mask path, you can change the feather, you can change the opacity, you can invert it, you can do all the things in this effect that you can do in any of the older effects already in Premiere. And that's it from me. This one was kind of fun. I remember learning about film impact at the time. It was just transitions. Maybe there were effects, but I didn't have enough money to buy them. So I just had a few of the free transitions and I loved them. I thought they were so cool. And so to now, so many years later, have them, I'm not going to tell you how many years later, just so many, now to have them available in Premiere to be able to use for free and experiment with them is just a lot of fun for me personally. I hope this video was helpful. I walked you through a few of them. Something that I tried to point out is that you don't need much keyframing with the transitions, which is kind of cool. And then of course, if you're going to be using masks in those effects, you can use some keyframes and it works just like it does in all of the older effects as well. I hope this video was helpful. Give it a thumbs up if you thought it was. Subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'd love to see you back, and I'll see you in the next one.